Практикуешь произношение, но русский акцент никуда не уходит? Я расскажу тебе все секреты, что мешает тебе звучать как носитель. А на второй день мы разберемся самые коварные звуки.
Вы так и не разобрались с временами, несмотря на долгие годы изучения? Я расскажу вам, как правильно думать на английском, и тогда нужное время подставится само собой.
Вы узнаете, как построить план обучения самостоятельно и зарядитесь мотивацией изучать английский.
Нужна грамматика для высокого уровня. От меня будут 2 лекции и мастер-классы на самые сложные темы.
Но британский акцент, конечно, с меня. Come join us at Online LinguaFest 2020.
И на LinguaFest ты можешь выиграть курс от LinguaTrip, 3-недельное онлайн-обучение в крутой школе Великобритании и поездку в Лондон с обучением и проживанием.
Hi guys, my name is Anastasia and welcome back. We got a request from one of you to make a video about cooking and kitchen vocabulary. You got it. Today you're going to learn so many useful words and expressions that you will be able to start practicing them in real life straight away. Let's get started. And we're going to start with the kind of meals that you can have. Meals, well, there are 3 meals normally in a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can have a healthy meal if it's something healthy, you know, vegetables, nice fats, nice proteins. So that would be a healthy meal or a healthy dish. You can also have a pre-made meal or a pre-cooked meal. Those you can usually buy at the supermarket. They come in packs. You just put them into your microwave and heat them up. You can also have a frozen meal. It's the same pre-made meal, but it's frozen. You can keep it in your freezer for a long time and then heat it up in your microwave or in your oven. If you're not a fan of pre-cooked meals, you probably enjoy cooking. Anyway, if you cook, you probably have one of these. This is a cookbook. It's a book that contains recipes of pretty much everything. I have 2 cookbooks, one general one and one for kids. So yeah, kids also have their own cookbook. Cooking means using heat, you know, to process the food. So we can cook in different ways. For example, we can use a frying pan to fry eggs or meat, or we can fry fish. Sometimes we put a little bit of oil, olive oil, but you can use different oil, and we use a frying pan to fry. If we use one of these, we put some water inside and we boil food or boil different ingredients. This is called a pot, or you can call it a saucepan, and it's used for boiling. So you can boil food or you can fry food. When you fry food, to make sure it doesn't stick to your frying pan, you need to stir it. To stir, you need one of these. And there we go. We use a spatula to stir food when we fry it. There is a specific dish that's called a stir fry, and it's usually made in a wok. Ta-da! So because we fry it very quickly, so we need to stir it all the time, the food is called, the dish would be called a stir fry. So frying, stir frying, boiling. We can also use steaming to cook food. Steaming is when you add a little bit of water to your food and put it into a hot place like an oven, or you can use your hob Just put a lid on top and it creates steam. So your food will be steamed. Like steamed vegetables are very good for you. They're very healthy. If you're watching this video, then you've probably covered the basics of the English language. I think it's time for you to master your grammar now. The LinguaTrip team created 2 ebooks that have become bestsellers. Our special tips and tricks will help you crack the grammar case wide open. Both books have real-life examples that you can use in your speech. The link to both books will be in the description box. Before we start cooking food, we need to prepare it. For example, if we take potatoes, we need to peel them first. So we need to take the skin off. And to do that, we use this little tool, which is called a peeler. Very easy. You use it to peel, so it's called a peeler. We peel some vegetables. Then we need to cut them in different ways. So the general word would be cut, and we use a knife to cut things. If we cut things into thin, long pieces, like bread, for example, we call it a slice. To slice is a verb, and a slice is a small, thin piece like that. It can be a slice of cheese, a slice of cucumbers, a slice of watermelon as well. If we take, for example, tomatoes and we cut them into really small pieces, we'll say we chop them. They're small, square pieces. They're chopped. Tomatoes, to chop. If we go on with our potatoes and we peel potatoes, then we decide to boil them. And after we boil them, we can make potato puree. To make a puree, you need to mash your potatoes. And to mash your potatoes, you use one of these. This is a potato masher. If we want to use some cheese in our dish, we may want to grate it. So this is a grater, and we use it to grate cheese. When you put cheese on top of a hot dish, it melts. So you can melt cheese as well. What else can you melt? If you're making a cake, you melt some chocolate and you can pour it on top. Or you can melt some butter to make a nice cake, or some biscuits, or I don't know, a nice sauce. So if you cook your food, then you use high temperature, you use fire, you use frying pans, you can use an oven, so that's cooking. But you can also make food. For example, you can make a salad. And here with me, I have a salad bowl, and I put some salad leaves inside. So I can just chop some tomatoes, and I'm gonna add the tomatoes to my salad. If I want to add some salt, for example, I only need a little bit, and it's called a pinch. You know, like we pinch somebody the same. With 2 fingers, you take some salt and you add a pinch of salt. You can also season your food, which means you can add some spices. I have some herbs here I'm gonna add, and I have some pepper. I really like pepper. If we talk about something small being put on top, we can say we sprinkle it on top. You can sprinkle some herbs, you can sprinkle some salt, or if you're making a cake, you can add some cake sprinkles. So here I have some dinosaur sprinkles you can put on top of a cake. If we talk about meat, we can fry it on a frying pan, or we can use a grill. In that case, we'll be grilling the meat. So you can say, I'd like to grill some meat, or you can grill vegetables as well. If you want to cook a chicken, for example, you can roast it in the oven. So you put your chicken on a tray, put the tray into the oven, and you roast your chicken. If your food spent too much time in the oven or on the hob, then it can burn. So if you burn your meal, it's become impossible to eat. It smells bad, it tastes bad. Sometimes there is nothing of it that's left, it's just black. When you take your chicken out of the oven, you need to carve it. When you carve meat, it means you slice it into smaller pieces. Usually for carving chicken, we use these two tools. There's a fork and a special knife. And then you carve your chicken. Or turkey, if it's Christmas time. You can also use the oven to bake a cake or to bake cupcakes. So for that, you'd need a tray and you need to prepare a cake mix. To prepare a cake mix, you need to beat some eggs. So you take eggs and you take a whisk and you beat them so that they become nice, white and fluffy. So you beat the eggs with sugar, for example. You can say to beat or to whisk, because this is a whisk. And then your cake mix is ready. So you can pour some into the cupcake tray, preheat the oven. So when you preheat the oven, you put it on and wait for it to get to the temperature that you need. So you preheat the oven and then put the tray inside. When your food is ready, you need to serve it. To serve a dish or to serve your food means to put it on a plate and place it on the table in front of your guests. As we said before, cookbooks are a collection of different recipes. And now we're going to have a look at an example of a recipe. All right, let's have a look at some ingredients. So a recipe of a vanilla cake can be as following. For ingredients, you'll need 1 cup of white sugar, half a cup of butter, 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Tablespoon is a bigger spoon and teaspoon is a smaller spoon. 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. There are different types of flour. Self-raising or plain or all-purpose, they behave a little bit differently when you bake something. And you need half a cup of milk. So usually in recipes you see the ingredients section where you have a list of what you'll need, and you have the directions sections which describes the method of preparation. You preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or it's 175 degrees Celsius. So depending on what kind of measuring system you use, make sure that you pick the right number and preheat the oven. Grease and flour a cake pan, or it can be a cake tray. It's one of these. To grease it means to put some butter so that your cake doesn't stick. In a mixing bowl, cream together the sugar and the butter. It means we add the ingredients and we stir them until they look like cream. Beat in the eggs, you remember beat. So we'll use a whisk to beat in the eggs. Add a tablespoon of vanilla extract and whisk the same by using our whisk. Add the flour to the mixture and stir in the milk until the batter is smooth. So the cake mix we can also call the batter. Smooth when it doesn't have any lumps, so it's nice and liquid. Pour or spoon, by using a spoon, the cake mix onto a cake pan. Bake for 30 or 40 minutes in the preheated oven. As easy as that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and learned something really useful. Please comment in the comment section what you thought of it and maybe share the cool recipes that you decided to try after this video. Well, now you know all the vocabulary to show your recipes. Okay? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Good luck with your cooking, and I'll see you next time.